hope you can't see my pajamas pants. I'm so professional. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Maria and I like books. I don't know what gave it away, but you know, it's that time of the month. It's actually the end of the month where I think I said the exact same thing in my last reading wrap up. It's the end of the month, which means I'm doing a reading wrap up. I read a little bit less this month than I have in, well, last month in January, but I do believe I have a very good reason because I read Alchemist. For the month of February, I did my best to go through my TBR selected and I missed out on 2 books because I prioritized a bunch of arcs that I had, so there will be a bunch of e-arcs mentioned in today's video. If you've never seen my face before, I do all sorts of bookish things here, from chapping. What I do here in the channel is reading wrap-ups, TBRs. I like to go through my physical books. I like to recommend books, talk about books I really loved, as well as take you with me on bookish days, book shopping, hauls, and fun little days out. I'm still finding my feet with this YouTube thing, but we are now 2 months through and I'm so happy I took the plunge and going into YouTube because it has been so much fun. I really enjoyed the most of all the sitting and editing and figuring out what could be fun to share with the world. So if you have been around since the beginning, or even if you've been around for a little while, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you're new here, maybe you want to stick around, you know? Let's talk about the books that I read. This is only the physical copies that I have. I have a few from my e-reader that I've gone through as well, thanks to NetGalley. So let's talk through them in chronological order. So I didn't mention this in the last video, which is a bit silly because I did technically read this in January, but it was after midnight when I finally finished it. So we have Catch Her If You Can by Tessa Bailey, which is actually my favorite book in the Big Shot series of hers. I think I gave it 4 stars. I had such a good time. We're following the Yankees catcher Madden Donahue, who proposes a marriage of convenience to his longtime crush when she needs health benefits for her sister's 2 kids who are suddenly staying with her. That gets explained in the book. But keeping it strictly business is kind of proving impossible. And as their secret arrangement heats up, they both kind of have to decide if their fake marriage is worth turning it into like a real thing. I loved Eve in this, and Madden. Maybe it's because he's Irish and then I was like, that's my boy. But Eve and Madden were so good. I really liked the depth that was to it for a fluff piece, you know? Like, Tessa Bailey writes the best romantic comedy, I think. Tessa Bailey writes some of the best fluff pieces that I know, and whenever I'm in need of a silly goofy time, she will be my go-to. So yeah, 4 stars for Tessa Bailey, just over midnight, so technically a February read. And then came Alchemist, which was why my TBR is not as well done as I had hoped, because I did miss the Bone season and Only Love Can Hurt Like This from the TBR we picked for February, unfortunately. But I will say though, spending a week or 6 days reading this brick definitely took some of my time. I adored this. Well, I think adored is a hard word to say. I really enjoyed the depth to this, but it's a very dark book. Really dark. Check your trigger warnings because this is a very real portrayal of war and warfare and both the psychological but also physical downside of it. And it's a lot of like graphic detailed explanation of a lot of things. So go into this with that in mind. This story, the book Alchemist, is about a former alchemist with missing memories. Her name's Helena Marino, who's held captive in a world ruled by necromancers who believe her past hides a dangerous secret. So she's sent to the ruthless High Reeve to unlock her mind, and Helena must fight to protect her identity, but also survive the truth that's buried within. The way that this book is set up, going between present and past, is really clever. I enjoyed the different parts, and one of my favorite parts was because we're going through her amnesia, right? We're going through her lost memories, and in the first part where we're getting glimpses from the past, I found it really clever that when we were in the past, we saw these glimpses happening in real time, so we could connect it with what she saw in the present. And I thought that was a very great way of setting that up. I really enjoyed that. The writing is beautiful, it's lyrical, it's haunting, it's dark. Did I say it was dark? I think this is a book that you can read and weep to, especially the ending of the book. I'm not someone who cries very easily, bar Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, but we don't talk about her. We talk about her a lot. I love that book so much. But at the ending of the book, reading the apps, like the last page of it, had me tearing up. And I think there's something very real that we can see both in our actual past of war and wartime heroes that was reflected in that. And I do highly, highly recommend this book. Next. Then I read Empire of Flame and Thorns by Marian Blackwood. This was kindly sent to me by Scarlet Press, which is a print of Simon & Schuster. I'm part of their Scarlet Sirens, the influencer group, so I'm very fortunate to receive copies like this once in a while. And I did really enjoy this. This was a super fun romantasy where I'm definitely intrigued to pick up the rest of the series. I found it super fun and fast-paced. It's filled with deadly trials, fae politics, dragon shifters, and enemies to love attention. Like who doesn't love that? While the writing and the familiar tropes didn't really wow me like super much, I had a really fun time going through it. I found it highly entertaining, and there's high stakes in it that made it a super easy and bingeable read. I wouldn't call it like groundbreaking, but I'm intrigued enough to pick up the rest of the series, and I want to see where it goes. I did not see the ending coming, and I pride myself on being very good at guessing plot twist. But I did not see this coming, and I thought it was really clever done, so I'm looking forward to it. In this book we have Selena Hale, who's imprisoned in the Sealy court. She's a fae rebel who enters the Deadly Atonement trials in order to try and gain her freedom. But the ruthless dragon commander Draven Riot is determined to see her fail. Surprise! So as attraction spikes between these two, we see Selena survive the competition while guiding her rebellion and her heart, because there's one man, Draven, who wants to destroy them both, or could destroy them both. It's super fun. Like, it's romantasy at its almost like a caricature, but not in the way that the Dark Lord's Guide to Fake Dating would do it, also from Scarlet Press, but more serious but still fun. Like, it's easy to read, it's not super thick, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the series because I think it will be good. If you see me looking down, I promise I'm so professional that it's because I'm reading my notes. I made notes, y'all. I'm trying to be like on point and not just yap to yap, so there's actually a rhyme and reason with my reviews, you know? After Empire of Flame and Thorns, I read Love Song by Elle Kennedy on NetGalley, and if you know me, I love Elle Kennedy. Elle Kennedy has some of the best fluff pieces while also still creating a fun, spicy, kicking my feet, giggling kind of time. And there can still be some emotional depth to her books, which makes it so much more fun, because not only do we have great banter, great chemistry, great characters, we also have more feelings, more thoughts, more emotions that you would expect from a fluff piece, you know? So I read Love Song and I devoured this. I actually did. I could not put it down. This was swoony. This was summery.
Have you ever had a dream that you had you could you do you want you could do so you do you could you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Honestly, read this in summer. I think that'll be perfect. I gave it 4 stars. And no, for me to give a fluff piece 4 stars is really good. Because it's very rarely I will give it 5 stars, because 5 stars for me is something that evokes such big emotions that I have to like stare and dissociate and look at the wall for like a full hour, because I can't actually contain all the emotions within me. So 5 stars are not super common for me. Love Song is about Blake Logan, and it's another one, a part of her whole universe of her hockey players, which is really, really fun. So we meet like some of the players that we've already met through off campus and Briar U and so on. Like, it's really fun. So after a painful breakup, Blake Logan retreats to her family Tahoe Lake House, only to find Wyatt Graham, the older musician who once broke her teenage heart. But he's back in her life because he's in the house. As old sparks reignite into a summer romance they know can't last, tragedy pulls them apart, leaving them to face whether fate is offering them a second chance at love. And I'm being vague on purpose, but I will say check your trigger warnings for this one, because there is talks of loss in it, but it's specific type of loss, so check it out. I don't want to say too much because I don't want it to be a spoiler, but it's something that could potentially trigger some people, so I will say have a look at that before going into it, because it's really sad. But I think for me, that the fact that it both had like the fun, swoony, plenty of heat and heart, it also had that emotional side of it where where these two people are now dealing with the theme of loss. And I think it was really interestingly done for a fluff piece, and it just took away the fluff for a bit, and you had to you really felt for these two people, and I loved it. I did. I'm so excited for the next book in this. I was so fun reconnecting with all of them, and I think I'm not fully up to date with Elle Kennedy's backlog, but it makes me want to get fully updated because I have all of her books here. They're all here, all of them. So I do think that is something I want to fully go back to and get up to date, because meeting all of the characters is so much fun. After Love Song, I read Bloodbound by Ellis Hunter, that I gave 4.5 stars. I devoured this as well. Doomed to a deadly duel with a powerful dragon rider, Prince for... Oh, actually, hold on. What did I write? Why did I write that?
Hi there, Editing Maria, who's very annoyed at Past Maria, because as I'm talking about Bloodbound, I proceed to spoil one of the big plot twists that happens quite early on in the book, but nonetheless is a plot twist and I'm spoiling it. So please bear with me as I've bleeped out the spoiler part of it, but it does make this review a little bit silly. Sorry.
So this book is about Astrid, who is a witch heir who's doomed to a deadly duel with the dragon rider Prince in order to gain power over all of the magic in their country, or their land, the whole area. He's been training, he's super powerful, has a super powerful dragon, and she has a blocker on her magic for past trauma, so she's sure that she's gonna die. Except there's a twist. What's her name? I can't remember her name. But Astrid and the sister creates this really lovely friendship. I was so emotionally invested in this book. It was so good. Like, I was addicted. It delivers high stakes fantasy drama with rival heirs, witches, dragon riders, magic, deadly prophecy, and wicked queens, the whole shebang. And if you are in need of a romantasy that gives you those heart palpitations, this is the one, bibs. Bloodbound. I know it's gonna come out, I'm gonna put the date right here. It's gonna come out this date. I can't remember what it was, but it's been picked up for traditional publishing, and I'm delighted because this book is really good, and I'm so excited to see the success for these authors. They're lovely as well. When I was crashing out on Instagram, they kept commenting on my stories to be like, sorry. They know what they did. And I loved every second of it. And the final arc of the month that I read, I think, hold on, yes, was Inamorata by Ava Reid. This was also my first Ava Reid, right? So I haven't read any of her other books. However, I do know that it's dark gothic novels that she does tend to write, dark gothic fantasy and romantasy. So I knew going into it, it was gonna be twisted. It was gonna be dark. It wasn't gonna be like your average day Joe. However, this didn't hit that much for me. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, which is still a good rating. Don't get me wrong. However, the writing was beautiful. The prose was really intriguing and hauntingly beautiful. And I think Ava Reid has a fantastic way with words that had me keep coming back to read more. However, the plot in this, I found lacking. Because we're following Agnes, who's the silent heiress of the House of Teeth, alongside with her cousin, where she arranges the marriage between her cousin, who is the sole heir, who she's the heiress, who's taking over the title of, is it Lady of Teeth? I can't remember. In order to settle their claim in country, she marries the prince, the crown prince, because Agnes needs access to the castle where she could find forbidden knowledge that she was tasked on by her grandmother, who's the previous heiress. And that's about it. Maybe I just didn't understand the plot. It could be entirely my fault, but we see Agnes fall for the prince. It's kind of a forbidden romance between them because obviously he's married to her sister, and Agnes is kind of turning away from her purpose and slowly growing into an actual person other than the shell that she had become from her grandmother. But I've kind of felt I was missing more in the story. Like there's some scenes where I'm like, oh my god, okay, it's picking up, this is horrible. But it was almost just grotesque to be grotesque for me personally. And again, I have not read other Ava Reid books. This could be just the way that she writes and it's not for me, and that's okay. This is just my opinion.
That's my opinion!
But I do still think that it was a beautiful book and I don't regret reading it. I do think I want to read more Ava Reid books to see if it's in general, this is the kind of plot lines that she writes, or if it was just that one that wasn't for me. So yeah, that's my review. I don't know if that's any help. But then comes my favorite book of the month. Which says a lot, because I also read another book that I really loved, but this one takes the cake. It is Fredrik Backman's My Friends. This was my book club pick, and I actually didn't even make it to the book club meeting because your girl had a migraine that made me see auras. However, I really wanted to talk about this book with the girlies because I loved this. This was my first Fredrik Backman as well. I've really branched out this month. But we're following aspiring artist Louisa, who inherits a mysterious painting of 3 figures on a pier, and as she journeys to uncover their stories, she's tracing back to this life-changing summer with a group of troubled teens who found friendship and love and escape by the sea. Louisa meets the artist on death's door, and he gives her this painting, this all-consuming painting that she needs to know everything about. And the artist friend who gives the painting to her, she tags along with him on his way home, and as they're traveling and journeying home, he reflects on his childhood with the artist and their group of friends, and they go through their past of that summer where everything changed basically. And it's my heart aches for these kids because it's so real. It's so real. These kids are out there, they with similar experiences, and it's so sad. But the way that their friendship and their love and their trust and their beliefs in each other was portrayed in this book, my heart aches. And I'm getting like super emotional just thinking about this book. This was truly just beautiful, and I'm in desperate need to continue reading more Frederick Backman because the writing style was deeply moving but super easy to read. Like, you just kept flicking pages over and over and over and over and over and over and over because you had to keep reading. You had to keep hearing what their lives were like, how they overcame so much hurt and so much trauma by these people who let them down. And this sense of companionship and community that is present is so heartbreakingly beautiful, and I highly recommend everyone to pick this one up. I loved it! And then I read 2 books in one day because I realized that I was so behind on my physical TBR. So I read Tangled Up Anew by Christina Lauren, which is a Tangled remake rom-com based in present day, where we are following the off-grid dreamer Ren, who's heading to college after much convincing of her parents, who's very against it. And she meets the real world. She has to realize a bunch of things. This girl has never had a phone, never had a computer, don't really know about the Wi-Fi, doesn't understand how school works because she was homeschooled, and she taught herself all these things just by reading in books, and she doesn't know really how society works. And she meets Fitz, who plans to graduate top of his class to complete a deal that he has in order to get out of some trouble he's had in the past. And they have to go on this road trip because Ren discovers groundbreaking truth about her past and her family that she has to discover. And if you've seen Tangled, you know exactly what she's discovering. But despite I've seen Tangled, I love Tangled. I think it's one of my favorite Disney movies in general. But despite knowing the entire plot of that, there's still a lot of twists and turns and surprises in this book, and I had such a fun time. Like, I gave it 4 stars. Again, I don't give Flood Pieces a lot of 4 stars, but it was so much fun, and I blazed through. Now, it's a short book as well. Like, I think it's just barely 300 pages, but it was so much fun, and I loved the chemistry between Ren and Fitz, and it was very reminiscent of Rapunzel and what's his name, Flynn Rider. It was really good, and I want to read the rest because this is the 4th book in a series of reimagined Disney tales, and we have If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, By the Book by Jasmine Guillory, and Kiss the Girl by Zoraida Cordova, which is obviously Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid. And I really want to read all of them because this was so much fun, and it really kind of took my childhood memories and threw them out the door, and it was so much better. Highly recommend. And right after that, another book that I also highly recommend is Old Enough by Haley Jacobson. Old Enough, it's about our bisexual student Sav, who's beginning to find her own community after coming out in college. She's finding people that is embracing her and her sexuality while also kind of finding new love, but also dealing with past traumas and the reality of growing apart and not always being able to stick around in friendships when you have moved such different paths. And I really enjoyed all the banter, all of the fun queer stereotypes that you see. Well, I wouldn't call them stereotypes because these are really people that you tend to see, like trends and personalities that are very present in the queer community. And as a bisexual woman as a bisexual woman, it was really fun and familiar to read through these pages and rediscover a bunch of the things that I've known from when I came out and when I started hanging around with people in these communities and figuring out my own way to move around. And it was so familiar and so much fun, while also eye-opening on the way of navigating friendships at a young age. And there was more than once where I kind of went like, girl, will you just cop on? Hello? And other times where like, do you know what? You're young. I get it. I do. I'm not that young anymore. Her childhood best friend really grated me. but I think it's because I recognized that person as someone I had to let go of in my past. So you really feel with Savannah in this book, and you're rooting for her. Even if she's making a little bit silly calls and questionable decisions, we're rooting for her. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful portrayal of the college experience and growing up, basically. And then I read Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm nearly there with my backlog of Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think I only have Forever Interrupted and After I Do. I think those are the last two TJR books that I haven't read yet, but we're getting there. And she doesn't miss another 4-star banger from Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have a great month. I actually had such a good month of reads. In Maybe Another Life, we are following Hannah, who is back in Los Angeles after having moved out of New York, where she just broke up with her ex-boyfriend, who she found out was actually a married man with 2 kids. And we are really following and exploring the question of what if I'd made a different choice, which I found really... Jesus, it's storming outside. Hello? But I found the premise of this book really interesting. So we're following 2 alternate timelines where Hannah is either choosing to go home with her best friend, and she ends up in a car accident that leaves her with a broken hip and femur. I can't remember exactly what was broken, but she has to stay in the hospital bed for super long, do rehabilitation, learn how to walk again, basically. And in the other timeline, she stays with her ex-boyfriend, her childhood sweetheart, high school sweetheart, and they go back to his, and they end up doing the nasty and rediscover their relationship. And the 2 timelines just veer completely different angles, but somehow at the end in the same point, which I thought was so cleverly done. And there's several factors that's happening, obviously, because it happened before the choice that splits the alternate realities. So that the earth-shattering truths happen in like both of them, but they're dealt with differently because obviously they're different circumstances, and that's terribly explained. I thought it was super clever. It's a super reflective read that uses these parallel timelines to explore fate and choice and self-discovery, and I really, really liked Hannah's character, and especially the true love story, which is really Hannah and her best friend, and them understanding that their forever is with each other. And I love that, like, female friendship, especially such a close female friendship that was for them, was beautiful. I love reading about that. I treasure it so much because my Hannah and I believe we have the same thing, and that just, it's everything to me. So I loved it and I highly recommend it. We're about to wrap up, you guys. I then read Quicksilver. Finally. Like, actually, finally. I'm so behind in this, and I've slept on it because this was 5 fucking stars. Okay? Even the plot twist that I did see coming, I fucking adored this. And I'm not sure if this was a debut or not, by Callie Hart, but it was so well written. The world building was fantastic. The magic system is super interesting, and I loved the portrayal of like the court politics. We're following Sarah Fane, who's our main character, who is from a desert country where even water is a luxury that's rationed for them, and really struggling, where she's a thief. She steals things to kind of survive, basically, or provide for her younger brother, because she's without parents. And she gets into trouble with the Mad Queen and gets saved by Kingfisher, and then she has all of a sudden been adopted to this Fae kingdom, where it turns out that she has a magic affinity for Quicksilver. She's an alchemist. I really like the alchemist this month. And she has to figure out a way to use the Quicksilver in order to create these relics to save other people for going through the Quicksilver, use it as a portal, because it can be used for a portal to alternative realities. And I loved that the Quicksilver was sentient. I loved the different characters. I loved Kingfisher so much. That man. It was fun. It was high stakes. It was a perfect romantasy for me. I adored it. And even if it was a little bit predictable at times, it didn't ruin my experience. And there are still things that I didn't see coming at all. Like some of the characters revealed things towards the end that I was like, oh, what the fuck? So I thought it was done really, really well. And I have to pick up Brimstone as soon as possible because, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I loved it so much. So technically today's the last day of February as I'm filming this, and I'm about 100 pages away from finishing Scythe and Sparrow. So I am gonna include it in this because I will finish it once I'm done filming here. You can bet your sweet cheeks on that. This is the final installment in the Ruinous trilogy where we are following Fionn Kane and Rose Evans. Rose gets hurt badly with her leg, and Fionn, being the sexy Dr. McSpicy that he is, takes her in and helps her recover in his home. How gentlemanlike, right? It's so much fun. I love Butcher and Blackbird. I was okay with Leather and Lark. I didn't love it that much, mainly because I thought the Irishness of Lachlan was done too much. It was a little bit cringe to me, especially with the, what did he say, Christ Jesus or something like that, which I've never heard anyone, or the fact he said fecking all the time, where I'm like, I actually don't know anyone here who would say fecking like that all numerous times. And again, we just say fuck, guys, let's just say fuck here. But Fionn and Rose are bringing it back for me. I'm not settled on a grade rating yet because obviously I haven't finished yet, but when I've edited this, or when I'm editing this, I'll add obviously the little score here. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a really fun time. Like, I read this morning. Like, I've read 250 pages just in bed this morning, so I'm flying through it. It's fun. It's dark. Like, it's Bryn Reaver. You know it at this point. If you've read any of her books, you know that it's a silly goofy time, but it's a dark silly goofy time. It's spicy, it's fun, it's dark, it's how many times can I say dark for one book? But yeah, I'm having a great time. Those are 12 books that I read in February. I would love to know, what was your favorite read of the month? If there is anything that surprised you about my rating and reviews of these books, I'd love to know in the comments. If this is your kind of content, if you enjoyed your time here, I would love if you could leave a little like on the video, and even better if you want to subscribe, because I post every Friday of the week. So far I've done it non-stop, so you can count on me, boo. If you're looking for any of my other information, which I would love if you wanted to follow me over on my other social, which are all in my description below. You can see I have Instagram, TikTok, Goodreads, StoryGraph, the whole shebang. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have the best day ever. Even if it's the evening, I hope you didn't have the best evening or night whenever you're watching this. This was a terrible outro. Why did I start this? Why can I not shut up? Oh my god. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!